The Switch, version 1. Number 10. The deep voice on the television announced, "Our first contender in the most extreme feline hunters is the..." My eyelids became heavy and closed for a moment. As I drowsily opened them again, it was in the midst of the chattering information. At my feet, Minnie-Me lay curled in a ball, dreaming. I leaned over her and she opened her eyes and cried out with a meek meow as I planted a small kiss on the top of her head, then lay back down. Before long, my eyes were too heavy to keep open. I grabbed the remote and shut off the TV and drifted into sleep. "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Come here," I shouted as I jumped for a big yarn ball. Before long, my cell phone began to vibrate loudly on the desk. I woke to my mom asking the same question. "Do you work today?" After a few yawns, I mustered up my answer. "Meow." I closed my eyes to doze a little more, but they shot open with utter shock. "Did I just say meow?" I thought to myself. Clearing my throat, I tried again. "Meow." This can't be happening, I thought. As I climbed out of bed and turned around to get my glasses off the floor, I reached down to get them and I saw a black paw touching the lenses. I looked up at the bed and sprawled out over the bed, snoring, I saw myself. If I'm up there sleeping, then I must be Minnie-Me. I was no longer in the body I was when I went to sleep last night. "Kara, do you work today?" Mom stood over the human body form of me, pushing my shoulder. Well, Minnie-Me's shoulder, technically. "Stop, don't," Minnie-Me quickly muttered in my voice. "You need to get up and get ready." Mom pulled the cover off, rolling Minnie-Me off the bed. "Grandma, I'm not done with my nap yet." Minnie-Me curled up in a ball-like position. Well, as much as my body would allow her to. "She can't even drive," I muttered to myself. Come to think of it, neither can I. I've got to call into work. I jumped up on the computer desk and began dialing the phone number. Wait a minute. I stopped myself before pressing the last number. I need Minnie-Me to speak human to them. "Minnie-Me!" I called in cat. "What?" Her head arose, looking around. "I need you to call in sick for me." "Not right now. I'm still napping." As soon as Mom turned on the shower, I dialed the last number and hit talk. "Food Mart, how can I help you?" "This is Kara," I whispered into her ear. "This is Kara," she spoke into the phone. "I can't come into work today because I'm not feeling like myself today," I whispered. "I'm not feeling good today," Minnie began talking, and then licking her arm. "Well, we're short-handed. Do you think you can manage at least a few hours?" "They're short-handed and want to know if you can manage a few hours." She licked her arm again. "I could, but how can I get there in one piece, that is?" "I'll see if I can make it," I told her to say. After we hung up and got dressed, Minnie-Me and I walked to the car. I jumped into the passenger seat. She set the key in the ignition and turned over the engine. "Now put it in reverse." After she switched it into reverse, I calmly spoke. "Now gently put your foot on the gas pedal and push down, but just a little." She slammed on the gas and we zoomed toward the neighbor's car. "Brake!" I screamed with horror. She hit the brake and stopped just in time to avoid hitting it. I took a deep breath and then calmly spoke again. "Turn the wheel to the right. The car went towards the porch. Now, turn it slightly to the left. After we straightened, Minnie put her foot on the brake. Suddenly, I saw her 9 lives flashing before my eyes. As we approached the end of the driveway, we began heading towards another neighbor's car. "Brake!" I shouted again. "Put it in drive and pull up a little." After we were clear of that neighbor's car, I wiped my forehead. "Turn it slightly to the right and put it in reverse." Approaching the stop sign at the 4-way intersection, she was about to go right through it. "Brake!" The car squealed as she slammed on the brake. "Red means stop," I shouted. "All right, don't cough up a hairball," she sassed. "Now you can go," I said with my heart racing. "Turn left." As we neared the stoplight, I feared we'd die on the way there, so I instructed her to pull in the parking lot of the Dollar Mart and back out like we did in the driveway. Once we were safely back at home, I decided driving wouldn't be a good idea. "Maybe you should take the bus." Arriving in the driveway and parking, we walked the rest of the way, arriving at the bus stop. The big black doors of the bus came swinging open, and Minnie Me stepped inside. I started walking up, but the bus was slammed. But the bus slammed the doors in my face when it shut. Rubbing my nose with my paw, I wondered if she'd be okay. All day long, I sat and watched the bus as it went by, waiting for Minnie Me to step off. I was in the middle of a nap when the bus stopped off at the corner and the driver nearly pushed her off. "Next time, know where you're going." "So how did it go?" I asked the minute she got to the bench. "To Walmart, then to the bus station. To Walmart, then to the bus station. Back and forth." She sat on the grass and proceeded to lick herself. "Don't do that!" I screamed. "Hey, I've been on a smelly bus with humans all day long. I need to bathe." "Not like that, you don't." "While you're me, you'll take a shower." She threw me a look of horror. "You mean with water?" "Yes, that's..." Just then I recalled her previous statement. I tilted my head in curiosity. "What do you mean, back and forth? You mean you've been sitting on that bus for the last 4 hours?" "Yeah. I don't know why you humans pay to ride that thing. It never takes you anywhere." I put my paws over my face in despair. "I've been looking forward to that fancy feast meal all morning," she said, trotting off to the door. "Walk upright, will you, or the neighbors will think I'm loony." As she entered the door, on 2 feet, she looked all over the floor, then let out a loud gasp. "It's gone!" After shutting the door, I walked into the room with a nervous look on my face. "Yeah, about that. I had it for lunch today." "What am I supposed to eat?" Minnie crossed her arms. Root beer? Cheese puffs? Pizza?" I lifted the can with my mouth, stood up to the top of the trash can, and dropped it into it. "Ugh. I want tuna or salmon or fancy feast." "Well, take one out and open it." "I am a cat. I can't." She looked down at her hands. "Oh yeah, I've got thumbs now. I keep forgetting." She took a can and popped the top, and the moment her tongue hit the stuff inside, she ran to the sink and spit it out. The shock of her dislike was a big disappointment to her. Her eyes looked at the floor as she sank into the chair at the table. "Why don't I like it?" she said in sadness. "Because you're me now." I rolled my eyes and began eating out of the can. "And I've never eaten out of a cat food can until I became a cat. I licked my lips to remove the excess food. Minnie looked over at me, scowling with my brown eyes. It was rather freaky to see myself scowling at me. Looking at myself through her eyes, I realized I was like a giant to her. No wonder she freaked out when I came over to pet her. "Do you have any money for a lawyer?" she asked me with the phone book in hand. "No." I hopped on the table and sat down. "Why?" "I want to sue you for wrongful switching."